One company I worked with had this great history of innovation. They kept doing fantastic new things. And they had this idea for doing bag-and-box motor oil. But they had the idea of putting a nice metered package and you could roll it under the car. And their idea was to change the world. By the time we got there, it was sort of strangely small. How could you have this huge vision and this tiny little project? And part of the problem was that innovation and finance weren't really aligned. So you start off with a bold vision and you have a project, okay? And finance comes in and says, well, what numbers can you actually hit? How are you going to justify this? And they fill it out. Well, the guy's got enough air cover at the beginning, so he carries on with his project. And next round comes around, more budget pressure now, so he gets a little less. So he reaches out to his customer set, and he finds a key customer who's actually in the motor oil business. And he says, why don't you work with this project with me? Budget pressure increases, they need more commitment on that financial stuff, and the guy says to the customer, hey, can you help me co-fund it? Yeah, money puts in a little, so earnest money from a customer, that's actually also really good. But over time and by degree, what happens is this project slowly converts from, I'm going to create this new vision, to I'm now doing a paid R&D project for this customer. And when I showed up, I said, do you have a patent? Because it seems like, putting motor oil in a cardboard box seems like a pretty novel idea. He said, yeah, we went and got the patent. And I'm thinking, this is pretty good. He's set up to go win. One small detail. The customer had rights on the patent, because the guy had been forced into these positions where he had to make the numbers work. And they lost track of the vision to the upside. They actually went and launched the product. It starts off beautifully. And it starts to compete with the mainline business of this customer. How do we stop this? Well, the patent, of course, right? So what the guy had done was, instead of proving out how this would be great, he gave away a lot of the value to the customer in order to make it easy and demonstrable. So it moved from an oyster with a lot of potential, and it converted into this little white elephant. And the thing that's so painful about this is that it's a self-inflicted wound. That is, by having innovation and finance not work well together, or be it slight cross purposes that let the customer wrest too much control. It's one example among many about how innovation and finance can drive mediocrity in a product. And so there's these sort of insidious ways that innovation and finance, and indeed many other forces in organization, tend to make innovation small. And you got to get innovation and finance lined up so that finance can be a good steward of the future financial health of the company. And they can ask the questions about how we're really going to make the cash register ring. Those are actually critical, central questions in innovation.